All right, so I've been extremely impressed. This is our final full swing lesson. I've been extremely impressed with you know, the progress we've made so far. And we're going to be able to see a lot of that progress when we go from after the short game lessons. We're going to take it out on the golf course, and hopefully we can see some improvement. And that's the key. The most important thing for me when we get out there is to be able to develop a consistent you know, way of thinking around the golf course. If we can have a solid pre-shot routine every single time that we hit the golf ball, the game becomes more consistent, I guess. It becomes easier to play in the mind and between the ears. I mean, because if you think about and visualize shots before you hit them, you have a tendency to know what you're going to do before you even go out there and do it. So if we can kind of take that into consideration, hopefully, you know, the game becomes a little bit more easier and a little bit more easier on the mind to think about. So could you tell me a little bit what your pre-swing thoughts are, like before you hit the ball?
Well, I try to just line it up with my shoulder towards the target, and then I try to place the ball correctly between my feet, try to visualize where I'm going to go with it, and try to do that every time, best I can.
Okay. Well, that's great. And a lot of good players on tour, they do the same thing. They have a plan of attack before they even execute it. And that's the goal between every shot. For advanced golfers, they need to have this type of thinking every single time they hit a golf ball. And if they can do that, they play better. Play much better golf. So my goal for you is to instruct you in developing a more consistent pre-shot routine, so that way before you hit every shot, you're able to visualize it mentally before you execute it physically. So, for example, what I do is I step behind the golf ball before I hit it. I don't even set up to the golf ball, and I'm trying to visualize what I'm going to do. If I can do that correctly, I can see the green, I can see where I want to put the ball on my approach, and then I can try to imagine it that way. If I'm able to do that successfully, when I step up to my shot and I miss-hit the ball, I at least know that I knew what I was going to do before I did it. And just because I didn't execute it doesn't necessarily mean it's my fault, but it means that, you know, I have some sort of thing I need to work on with my physical golf swing. That's all it is. So before I do, I'll show you exactly what I do and what a good thing to do is for pre-shot routines. So we'll take this golf ball. This is what I do. And you have a different one, I have a different one. Everybody has a different shot before they do it, okay? So I'm visualizing a shot to 115 yards with a pitching wedge, okay? I'm trying to pick a spot on the green where I want to hit it. I'm taking note of what the conditions are doing. I'm taking note of the wind direction, the conditions, whether it's raining, whether it's not. And then I am trying to execute that to the best of my ability. So I'm looking at it, I'm visualizing it. If you were to time me, I'd probably be the same almost every single time I hit each shot. Not just from 115 yards, but it could be from 215 yards. I do the same thing every time. I step back, I take a couple of practice swings, you know, try to get a feel for it, get a feel for what I'm doing. I'll take one quick little look, and then I'll execute the shot. Hopefully, if I pick the correct place on the green, I do it correctly. So why don't you show me an example of a good pre-shot routine, and then we're going to try to mimic that before every shot. I really haven't seen you hit the ball that good in a while.
Feels good.
But now I'm not going to credit that to just the simple pre-shot routine, but I think pre-swing, wise, we need to kind of think before we act. And that's kind of like a life lesson too. Take your life lessons to the golf course with you. Think about what you're going to do before you do it. Don't just step up and do it. This is a perfect example of what pre-swing thoughts could be for you. Nice job.